Right, this video's a little bit different than the usual hands-on videos. You're probably watching this video because you own a Mercedes that you have had a break, pipe burst, metal hose get a hole in it, and you've replaced said hose, you've replaced whatever in the braking system, and you have bled the living daylights out of it, and you can't get a pedal. You can't make the pedal feel like it's got any resistance whatsoever, to the point where you're about to set fire to the car. So, seeing as though this seems to be quite a common problem, however, Mercedes seem to say that they don't have this problem and there is no issue and blah blah blah. If you look on Google, then you will quite quickly see that this is quite a common issue with these cars. Now, this is a C220 that I'm working on. It came in for burst brake lines. Now, this is, again, by the looks of it, quite a common issue with these cars. Not just the C class, the E class, you know, blah blah blah, but the brake lines that run underneath the car that go to the rear two calipers. They come under the chassis and they come up into the rear arch on the passenger side, and where they bend up, they corrode. The mud sits there in between the arch liner and the under tray and the skirt, and they rot. So you cut out the pipes and you bleed the system, is what you would do on every other car on the planet. And within 10 minutes, you've usually got nice clean fluid, nice pedal. In this instance, we're 3 days into this. Let's put that this way, and this is why I'm making this video, because there's a lot of threads out there on forums and whatnot where people have this exact same problem, and they all go cold at the end. There's no answer to how these people have got this pedal back, and this is going to be helpful, I hope, to someone else who is at the point of getting a blowtorch and setting fire to the car, because they don't understand how they can put 6,000 gallons of brake fluid through the system and still not have a pedal when you've got no air coming out. Everywhere you read about this particular problem, pressure bleed, pressure bleed, pressure bleed, pressure bleed. Now, people have been obviously saying on the forums, you know, the master cylinders and this, that and the other. Now, in this instance, on this particular car, the master cylinder is 130,000 miles and the seals weren't great. So the master cylinder has been done. So we're talking about bleeding the whole entire system here, through the ABS pump, etc., out the rear wheels. Now, the first instance, we bled the system and we had about 1.5 litres, maybe 2 litres out of each corner. We had no problems with bubbles. Obviously the air came out, we thought air came out of the system, and we were ready to go. So we foot on the pedal, pump it up. Pedal feels like it's got no resistance. It feels like you're just pushing on fresh air. There's no resistance there whatsoever. Okay, we must still have some air in it, so bleed again. Same thing, we run loads of brake fluid. At this point, it's like 3-4 litres out of each corner. Brake fluid, clean as a whistle, not a whisper of any bubbles, air, anything. And we're using a pressure bleeder. We're using, you know, not the one you hook up to the spare wheel, which, you know, you got 10 psi in from the spare wheel. It's a, you know, it's got a round container. You fill it up with 5 litres of fluid and you pump the top, build the pressure up in the system, and it will bleed. It gives you enough in there easily to bleed a good few systems comfortably, you would think. So when you're having to refill this thing and you're still getting no pedal, that's when you're starting to get to the point where you're thinking something is amiss here. turning to the internet, seeing if anyone's had this problem before. Yes, hundreds of people had this problem before. By the looks of it, no one seems to know how to fix it. Anyway, we probably got cars in scrap yards, you know, and sitting in garages where people haven't got a clue how the hell to get this brake pedal back. Now, it's a fairly simple system. You've got hydraulic fluid, aka brake fluid, going into the reservoir. It gets forced out of the reservoir with a master, goes into the ABS pump, comes out of there and goes back to the calipers, to your bleed nipples. That's it. You know, there's nothing really complicated about bleeding a brake system. So that being said, we bled and bled and bled and bled, and this is an insane amount of bleeding. This is like unprecedented amount of bleeding. We're putting sort of 20 psi, 30 psi into this master cylinder, thinking, you know, how much more pressure can we put in this thing to try and force any air out? And no air was coming out of this thing. So we've tried various calibrations, we've tried various God knows what on a diagnostic to try and see if we can force this air out. Nothing. So in the end, we're clutching at straws by this point, you know, we're just trying anything and everything. We tried vacuum bleeding it. I've tried a diesel primer bulb on the rear nipples to try and pull the fluid through, just in case it's got stuck somewhere. We was opening up all the connections left, right and centre from the ABS pump, literally stripping the brake system back down again, trying to find where this air would be. You know, a blockage or something like that. But again, everything pointed towards you've got air in it. However, no air was coming out, and everywhere we tested, no air, just fluid, just fluid, just fluid. So in the end, we have basically figured out that if you put the pressure bleeder on the master cylinder, pump it up to around 2-ish bar, you know, there or thereabouts. Open the bleed nipple on whatever caliper you need, allow the fluid to start flowing. Start the car so that obviously the engine is idling, and then if you push the brake pedal down slowly a few times, obviously go gently because you've got the pressure on the master, and just gently push the brake pedal down. When the engine is running, you've also got the pressure inside the system from the easy bleed. So we're not doing this the old school way with pump, 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 open the bleed nipple, shut the bleed nipple, and then let go of the pedal. We're doing this with 2 bar of pressure inside the brake booster, if you like, inside the master cylinder in the reservoir. You've got the engine running, you've got the nipple open, the fluid is flowing out at 2 bar or whatever it's coming out at the back end. And then if you pump the brake pedal, you will force the fluid, and what we didn't think was air, but there was air, the air will come out of the tube. Now, we did about 10 pumps on this, and to be honest, the amount of air that came out of the tube, it looked like the entire tube from the front of the car to the back of the car was full of air. Now, this didn't make any sense considering that we had fluid coming out of every single corner, clean fluid, no air. And as I said, we put up to 2.5 bar in this to try and force this air out, and it was not coming out. Every time we tried it, we'd bleed it, and we wouldn't get any pedal, no resistance, every time. However, as soon as we did it this way, pressure in the system, start the motor, open the nipple up, let it idle, give the pedal a few pushes, it seemed to force the rest of wherever the hell the air was sitting out of that system. And I can pretty much guarantee you, if you've got a Mercedes where you cannot get a brake pedal, that will get you your pedal back. And so the only reason we're doing this video is because we came across it by just trying this and that and the other, and we've got nothing to lose. You know, it's not the ideal way of doing it. It's not a way I've ever done it before. You either do it the old school way with pushing the pedal down, releasing the nipple, doing the nipple up, releasing the pedal, you know, and forcing it through that way, or you use a pressure bleed. Now, nowhere on any Mercedes information sites or anything tells you anything about having the engine running, using a pressure bleeder and obviously pumping the pedal to release the air. Nowhere. There's no information on this whatsoever. Everywhere points towards pressure bleed, pressure bleed, pressure bleed. Nowhere says pressure bleed with any sort of, well, anything else, anything. No touching the brake pedals, no nothing. I mean, ordinarily, you put a pressure bleeder on it, it forces the air out, you're good to go. But this seems like a quite a widespread issue on these cars. I say, if you Google it, you probably have already. You've probably been Googling, how the hell do I get my brake pedal back? Can't get my brake pedal back. The brake pedal's just, you know, floppy as hell after I've done the brake lines. But it seems like these brake lines burst and you end up with no pedal after bleeding. You think you've got the air out. You can swear you've got the air out. Now, we thought we had the air out. However, it wasn't. You know, it was last chance saloon. Like, how many other combinations of stuff can we do to try and get this air out? And it worked. Now, I say, I know of one other car that at this precise moment is sitting in another yard that is the exact same problem. They've had the brake parts burst and it's been sat there 3-4 weeks because I just cannot get a pedal. And they've changed ABS pump, they've changed this, they've changed that, you know, to try and get some sort of pedal on it. Still no difference. But it seems that the pressure of the continuous pressure of the brake, if you like, the 2-bar in the system with the actual bleeder, and then you allowing your, you know, the brake booster, because bear in mind, this doesn't work if the engine's not running. This does not work if you push the pedal without the master cylinder getting the vacuum assist. This will not work. We tried and as I said, we've tried every combination on planet Earth to try and get this air out. And there is no need to activate ABS pumps and things like that on this particular model. This is a 204, but on other models there may be, but there is no option on the diagnostics tool to allow you to activate ABS pump, because a lot of people are thinking that air is stuck in the pump. It's not. It's stuck somewhere in them pipes. Now, you'll be amazed how much air you'll get out if you do it like this, but afterwards you will get a pedal. If you don't, I'll be shocked. Because we were 3 days into this trying to get this thing, and it was getting to the stage where we're running out of enthusiasm, running out of ideas, and then we've come across this, obviously, the idea. To be fair, the idea has come from one of the blokes I work with in here. He's the painter, so what do I know, you know, like, he said, well, let's just try this, and we managed to get it going. You want to go and look at his page, TGA Automotive. He does like restoration and stuff like that. You know, it's pretty good little YouTube channel to go and look at, have a look at that. But yeah, so if you have a brake pedal that will not come back up, do that. If you do that, you will get a pedal back, providing you haven't got a leak somewhere, obviously. But I would be shocked if you don't. So hopefully this helps somebody out who is, I say, about to do an insurance job on their own car or a customer's car because they just can't get a brake pedal back. But hopefully it helps you going forward. So until the next one.